student. So we are going to start the physics, and in this one the first we will take the topic that is electrostatics, right? So let's see what is electrostatics and what is the basics of electrostatics. Electrostatic is the part of which branch of physics, right? So we will just cover all these things in this lecture, right? As you can see, it's a basic lecture we have, right? So what we will cover in this lecture, we will cover the charge and properties of charge, right? So let's see here. So first we have to understand, if we are just going to start the class 12 physics, then we need to understand like what are the topics are there and how we will cover all those topics, right? So let's see here. If we are just concentrating on the class 12 physics, then basically for our convenient we have just divided it into three parts, right? What are the parts over here? The first part is electromagnetism, right? First part is electromagnetism, right? Electromagnetism. And what is the second part is here? The second part is optics, okay? And what's the next part we have? The next part is modern physics, right? Next is a modern physics and semiconductor devices, right? So we will cover the class 12 physics by these sections. Let's see what is the first one. First section is electromagnetism, okay? So in electromagnetism we will cover nearly, we can say, up to 7 chapters, right? What are the chapters we will cover over here? What are the topics? There is a topic that is electric field, right? Electric field, electric potential, electric current, and MEC. MEC means what? Magnetic effect of electric current, right? This is MEC. Next is a magnetism. In magnetism means basically you can say it's a property related to the magnetic substances, like we can say magnet and the other magnetic substances are there, right? And after this one we will take the two topics, that is EMI and AC. EMI and AC. AC is a part of EMI, so basically we have a EMI. So all this section we will cover in electromagnetism, right? Now let's see how we will cover the optics over here. In the case of optics, we will cover the optics by two ways. What are the section over here? The first one is ray optics, right? And the second one is wave optics. It's called physical optics, but I will come on that later. Ray optics and wave optics, right? And in this modern physics and semiconductor devices, right? In this section we will just cover the semiconductor, like what is semiconductor, how we are just using the semiconductor devices for our daily uses. And the next one is the modern physics. What is the meaning of modern physics? Actually the name is only modern, but it's a very ancient thing is there. So what is the modern physics means? Modern physics means it's a physics after the discovery of electron. The physics after the discovery of electron is modern physics, right? So we will cover class 12 physics by this segment. So first we will start this segment, electromagnetism, because electromagnetism is very important for us. In reality, optics is also electromagnetism, because light is an electromagnetic wave, right? So if we will cover the electromagnetism, so you can understand like we will cover the maximum part of the class 12, right? So let's see, we are just moving on the electromagnetism. So what is the electromagnetism? Electromagnetism is what? It's a combined study of electric and magnetic, right? What is the meaning of combined study of electric and magnetic? Like if any body is showing electrical effect, like it is attracting anybody, repelling anybody, right? When we are just moving the body, we are getting current. So all those type of things are there. Then these are called electrical phenomena. What is the magnetic? Like if I am saying we have any current carrying wire, it is attracting to any magnetic substances, iron. So what we will say? This whole properties we will discuss in the case of electromagnetism, right? So what is the electromagnetism? It's a science of electrical and magnetic phenomena. What is the electrical and what is the magnetic phenomena? Even their combinations we will discuss in case of electromagnetism, right? Now let's move on to the next. In reality, the objects are showing electromagnetism that is based upon the charge, right? So we can say partially it's a study of charge. What is the electromagnetism? Electromagnetism is a study of charge. It's actually a study of properties of charges, like how the charge is showing the property, how the charge is showing electric field, how the charge is showing magnetic field. So it is related to all those things, right? So now first we need to concentrate. What is the charges here, right? So what is the meaning of charge and what we know previously from that? It's a property associated with the matter due to which it produces and experiences electrical and magnetic effect, right? So it is a property, like if I am saying any object is showing magnetic effect, either any system is showing electrical effect, so we can say the body or the object is charged, right? Without charge they cannot show any type of electrical effect, right? So if I am saying this is the definition of charges here, and one thing is also charge is associated with the matter. It means either you can also say charge is associated with the mass. Charge is always associated with the mass, right? So this is the definition of charge we have. Now let's move on the next. The next is basically it's a scalar quantity or vector. As you know previously, is scalar or vector? It's a scalar quantity. What is this? This is a scalar quantity. If this is a scalar quantity, so what's the benefit we have if it's a scalar quantity? If this is a scalar quantity, so we can simply say we can add the charges, like I said the charge is q minus q etc. So we can add them directly, right? Now let's move on the next. The next is a unit of the charge, right? I hope you know about the unit of the charge. What is the SI unit of charge? As we know, SI unit of charge is coulomb, right? What is the SI unit of charge? Coulomb. It is represented by C, coulomb. And what is the Celsius unit is there? Celsius unit. Celsius unit of charge is stat coulomb. Stat coulomb. This is a Celsius unit of charge. Either what we can say, this is called ESU. What is the meaning of ESU? ESU means electrostatic unit. What is the meaning of ESU? ESU means it's a electrostatic unit, right? This is ESU we have. If this is the electrostatic unit, so what is the relation between SI unit and Celsius unit? We can say the 1 coulomb is equals to the 3 into 10 to the power 9 ESU. 1 coulomb is equals to what? 3 into 10 to the power 9 ESU. Electrostatic unit, right? Either we can say stat coulomb. One unit is also there, that is called EMU. EMU. What is the EMU? EMU is called electromagnetic unit, right? This is electromagnetic unit. So what we can say about electromagnetic unit? 1 coulomb is equals to 1 by 10 EMU, that is electromagnetic unit, right? So this is the unit of the charge. What is the unit? SI unit of charge? Coulomb, right? What is the Celsius unit? Stat coulomb. And what is the relation between SI and Celsius unit? 1 coulomb is equals to 3 into 10 to the power 9 ESU. Either what we can say, 1 coulomb is equals to 1 by 10 EMU, and EMU is what? Electromagnetic unit. It's a larger unit, right? Now let's see the next thing. If I am saying this is the unit over here, so now we have to know about some basic things like types of charges, right? We know previously types of charge. So what are the types of charge? I hope we all know about the types of charge. Can we say there are two types of charge? Only two types of charge are there, no? It's not like neutral. Neutral is not any type. So what are the types of charges over here? The first one is positive charge. What is the first one? Positive charge. And what is the next one? That is negative charges here. Positive charge and negative charge. This is the charges here. Now let's see here. I hope you all know about the atom very well, right? Initially what we say, atom is a fundamental particle of any object, right? But atom is not a fundamental particle of any object, because we have learned about the electron. So after the discovery of electron, what we say, there is another fundamental particle. So what is the another fundamental particle? Like we are saying the electron, proton and neutron, right? These are the fundamental particle. But previously what we know, the atom is fundamental particle. But if now we have just learned about the electron, proton and neutron, so what we are saying about the electron, proton and neutron, like what we know, like this is the nucleus we have, right? Inside the nucleus what we are, there is a proton is there and neutron is there, and the electron is just revolving around this. How the electron is revolving around this, we all know. The electron is revolving around this like, okay, because it is just making the standing wave. Why is it is making the standing wave over here? Because it is making a standing wave if there is a formation of standing wave in any orbit, then that orbit is a stable orbit for the electron, because energy of standing wave will remains constant. That's why the electron is revolving in this particular orbit. Okay, now let's see here. So if I am saying this is the atom we have, and what are the fundamental particle we have? We have a electron, we have a proton, and what we have neutron. So we all know about the charges on this one. Actually this is the type of charge, no? Like positive charge and negative charge. So this charge exists, I mean the fundamental of this charges is exist on electron and proton, right? What is the charge on proton? The charge on proton is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and charge on electron is also 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Okay, but on proton it's a positive and on electron it's a negative. Okay, what is the meaning of 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb? Actually this is the least value of charge. What is this one? This is called least value of charge. Least value of charge. So what is the least value of charge over here? It's a 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Like this is the least value of charge. The charge cannot exist less than this quantity, right? This is the least value of charge. And also this is also called the fundamental unit of charge. This is also called the fundamental unit of charge, right? Fundamental unit of charge. Either also we can say this is called quanta. This is called quanta amount is here. No? I will discuss about the quanta later, but this is the fundamental charge, right? Now let's see the next. If this is the positive charges here and this is the negative charges here, on neutron there is no charge. No? On neutron there is no charge at all, right? So what they have discovered, like the electron, proton and neutrons are the fundamental particle, right? And everything is start moving up to based upon all these things, right? But what have recently they have postulated one quantity, and that is a very elementary particle, and that is called quark particle, right? What's that? That is a quark particle is here. That is elementary particle, that is quark particle. So what is the quark particle is here? When we are dealing with the quark particle, they have postulated that the charge on the quark particle is less than the charge on electron. I mean less than that 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, right? But actually why we are not discussing such type of things in JEE and NEET? Because the lifespan of this one is very small. No? It's not stable. These are not stable, right? That's why we are not discussing about the quark particle. But let's see what is the meaning of this one. Actually, quark particle is when we were discussing about the nuclear physics, right? When we are discussing about the nuclear physics, and then there is a one thing that is called subatomic particle, right? Subatomic particle. So it's a subatomic particle is there, right? It's a subatomic particle. So what is the quark particle is here? Quark particle is an elementary particle on which we can say there is a charge 1 is less than the charge on electron. Charge on electron plus minus 1 by 3, either plus minus 2 by 3. This is the charge on the quark particle, which is less than 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, right? But in our syllabus we have to only stick with the electron. We don't have to come on this quark particle, right? So let's see what is the meaning of this one. It's a subatomic particle. Either what we can say, it's an elementary particle which is less than electron, proton and neutron, right? So this is the elementary particle, and if this is the elementary particle, like what we know, if electron, proton and neutron, they are compiling, so we are just saying it's an atom, right? And atom is compiling, so we are saying it's a molecule. So it's the same, like when quark particle are compiling, so there is a formation of some composite particle, and that composite particle is called hadrons. That composite particle is called hadrons. So let's see here, quark particles combine and forms the composite particle, and that particles are called hadrons over here. Those particles are called hadrons. A lot of hadrons particles are there, right? But we don't have to stick with the others one, because we have to only stick with the most stable hadrons. So what are the most stable hadrons? One is the neutron and another is the proton. These are the most stable hadrons we have. What is the meaning of hadrons? Hadrons means it's a composite particle which is made up of quark particle, right? So let's see here, if this is the neutron and proton we have. So in the neutron there are 1 up and 2 down quark particle, and in the proton there is 2 up and 1 down quark particle. What is the up, down and all this thing is here? This is a type of quark particle, right? So let's see here, what are the types of quark particle? The types of quark particle is up, down, strange, charm, bottom and top, right? These are the types of quark particle we have. If these are the types of quark particle we have, and also in this 6 we can say these 3 are called primary quark particle, right? These 3 are called primary quark particle. Even now let's see here, no? This is neutron here. Neutron consists 1 up and 2 down, and this consists 2 up and 1 down. When we are saying the up particle, so what we can say with the up, there is a charge of 2 by 3e, right? And when we are saying we have a down, so in the case of down, what's the charge is here? Minus 1 by 3e charge is there. Now you can just add, then you will observe what is happening with this. If I am saying we are just taking the neutron over here, if we are just taking the neutron over here, then there are 1 up, so just write 1 up, 2 by 3e plus 2 down. So can we say it will be 2 into minus 1 by 3e. You can see the result is 0, right? So there is no charge on the neutron. Now what we can say for the proton, 2 up. It means 2 into, what is the charge on up? It's a 2 by 3e plus 1 down. What is the charge on down? Minus 1 by 3e. So what will be the charge on proton over here? The charge on proton is, it's a 4 by 3 minus 1 by 3. So it will be 3 by 3e. So we can say the charge on proton is e, and we know e is what? 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19, right? This is the charge on proton, as we know previously from the previous classes also. But what I said, you have to just think about this one. These are the basic things. It may be possible the further they will include in the JEE and NEET syllabus, but right now it's not in JEE and NEET syllabus. They are not asking problem related to this. They are only asking the problem related to the electron. I mean, what we have to consider in physics, the elementary charge particle is electron, and what is the charge on that? 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. And what is the charge on proton? 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, but it will be positively charged, right? Now let's see the next one. The next is what? charge on electron, we have done this one. What is the charge on electron? 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. This is the charge on electron. What is the charge on proton? It's a negative is there, right? This is what 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and this is what positively charged. Mass of proton. What is the mass of proton? The mass of proton is basically 1.672 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. This is the mass of proton, right? This is the mass of proton we have. What is the mass of electron? The mass of electron is approximately, it's a 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Now if I am saying what is the mass of neutron? What is the mass of neutron? The mass of neutron is 1.674 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. This is the mass of neutron we have, right? So can we see what is the reality is here? The reality is that the mass of neutron is more than mass of proton. This is the reality. The mass of neutron is more than mass of proton. But for the calculation purpose, what we are taking, the mass of neutron is approximately equals to mass of proton. Either we can say it's equals to mass of proton, because there is a difference. It's a 4 and this is what 2. So we can say like it's a feasible when we are just doing the calculation. So we can just consider them as equal, right? So now let's move on the next. Let's see what's the next we have to do, right? Next, we have to discuss about the properties of charges, right? It's a very important, because when we are going to discuss about the effect of charge, phenomena showing by the charge, so first we need to understand about the properties of charges, right? So what are the properties of charges over here? Let's see the first property. The charge is conserved, right? What is the meaning of statement that conserved? You know, like I said, momentum conservation, momentum remains conserved, energy remains conserved. So what is the meaning of this one? The meaning of this one, that the initial charge is equals to final charge, right? I will tell you the meaning of this one. This is the meaning of conservation. I mean, initial physical quantity is equals to the final physical quantity. So when we are saying the charge is conserved, so what is the meaning of charge is conserved? Like, and one thing is also, this is conserved for isolated system, right? Isolated system. This is conserved for isolated system, and I hope you know about the isolated system. Isolated system means which is not in contact with any other things. Like recently we know about the isolation, right? So it's the same thing as here, isolation system, which is not in contact with any other system. Like when we are just considering the universe over here right now. So when we are considering the universe, so what we are assuming, this is the universe one, like where we are, right? So this is the universe, and this universe is isolated from the other universe, right? So for this universe, the charge will remain constant. We cannot create the charge, either we cannot destroy the charge. So we can say one thing is also over here, what we can say, the charge of the universe, charge of the universe is remains constant, right? It's a remains constant. Like if I'm saying the total charge is Q, so it will be Q. Either the net charge is 0, so the net charge will be 0. So what is the meaning of this isolated system? Let's see the illustration. If I'm saying this is the object A we have, and this is the object B we have. So what I am assuming, the charge on A is 10 coulomb and charge on B is minus 4 coulomb. These two are separated by the others antibody. Now we have done something with A and B. So this is A and this is B. I mean between A and B. We are not doing anything externally over here. So I am saying the charge on this one is becomes 20 coulomb. So what is the charge on this one? Can we find it out? Let's try to see now how we will find it out. If I am saying the charge on this one, so what is the initial charge is here? 10 minus 4. 6 coulomb is here. So what should be the final charge over here? 6 coulomb. So what is the final charge is here? 20. Let's assume the charge on this one is Q. So 20 plus Q. So what is the value of Q over here? Can we say it's a minus 20 up plus 6? So Q is equals to minus 14 coulomb is here. This is called charge conservation. Initial charge is equals to the final charge. Now let's move on the next. Like point charges repel each other and unlike attract each other, right? Okay. What is the meaning of this one? Just concentrate on one point. Like point charges, right? We are not saying the like charges. Like point charges repel each other and unlike point charges attract each other. What is the meaning of this one? If I said this is the charge, Q is here, right? Plus Q is here. This is the another charge plus Q is here. So they are repelling each other, right? It's fact they are repelling each other. But this is only valid for point charge. If I'm saying, just write it down, right? If I'm saying we have an extended object. What is the meaning of extended object? If I'm saying if we have extended charge system. What is the meaning of extended charge system? Extended charge system means, like if I am saying this is the body we have just provided charge to this, and this is the any type of body over here, we have provided charge to this. We are providing like charges to them, but it may be possible that they will attract each other. It may be possible because it's an extended object. So there will be polarization in this one, right? So when there will be polarization, so if I am saying this is plus charges here, so this is minus, so plus will be over here because this plus will repel plus 1 and it will attract minus 1. So what will happen? The minus is very close as compared to the plus. So it will attract the minus and it will repel the plus, right? So what will happen in this? In this, the attraction may be more as compared to the repulsion. So they can attract each other, right? So what we have to consider, like point charges repel each other and unlike point charges attract each other. But when we are just coming into the case of extended object, then we have to concentrate on that. They may be attract each other if we are taking the like charges over there, right? Now let's move on the next. Let's see what's the next thing we have. The next is a charged body may attract a neutral body. It's the same thing. I will discuss about it later now. A charged body may attract a neutral body. Like if I am saying this is the charged body is here, I am just telling you a little bit about this one. This is the charged body is here, and this is the another body we have. We are saying this is the neutral body is there, right? What is the meaning of neutral? Neutral means the net charge is 0. Net charge is 0 means what? The positive charge and negative charge are in equal amount, right? Then that is called net charge is 0. So if this is plus, so can we say same? It will attract the negative and it will just repel the positive. So negative is close to this one, so there is a attraction, right? And positive is at some distance, so it will repel the positive. Negative is very close to this one, so we can say in this situation, the attraction can be greater than repulsion. If attraction is greater than repulsion, so there is an attraction between them, right? So if I am saying a charged body is attracting any other body, so it's not fact that both the bodies are charged. It may be possible the another body is neutral because it can attract a neutral body. Even it can attract the same charge also, right? If we have a extended object. So if I am saying there is an attraction between two bodies, so both the bodies are charged or not, we can't say anything about that, right? We know one body is charged, but both the bodies is charged, we cannot confirm about that, right? So for the sure confirmation, what we need? We need repulsion. If two bodies are repelling each other, so we will sure say there is a charge on both the bodies because they are repelling each other, right? So if someone will ask you what is the meaning of electrification, how we can just justify the electrification, so we will say there is a repulsion. If two bodies are showing repulsion with each other, then we will say it's two bodies are charged over here, right? And one thing is also how we will detect the charge. There is one thing that is called electroscope, right? So with the help of electroscope, we can say there is a charge on the body, either there is no charge on the body, right? Let's see here. What is the next property we have? The next property we have is always associated with the mass, cannot exist without mass. That's what I said initially. I mean along the definition of the charge. the charge is always associated with the mass. It cannot exist without mass, because what is the fundamental charges here? Right now what we are considering 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and this is the charge on electron and proton, right? So they possess some mass, they have mass, right? So without mass, charge cannot exist. It will be always associated with the mass, right? But mass can exist without charge. Like we have just seen the neutron. There is no charge on neutron, but there is a mass, right? So mass can exist without charge, but charge cannot exist without mass, right? Now let's move on the next one. What is the next one? Charge is relativistically invariant. What is the meaning of this one? What is the meaning of this relativistically invariant? Like when we are changing the speed of any body, no, then the mass of the body changes. Like we all know very well about the Einstein equation, E equals to mc square. If any body is moving, so can we say the mass is converted into the energy, right? We all are familiar with those things. So mass can be converted into the energy, and energy can be converted into mass. It's only true with the mass. It's not true for the charge, right? Because charge is invariant. So what is the meaning of relativistically invariant? It means what I have taken over here, sorry. What is the meaning of this one? It is independent. It is independent with the speed. It is independent with the speed. If we are changing the speed, so charge will remain same. Like if I am saying this is the body A we have, and charge on the body is 10 coulomb. This is at rest, right? But if the body start moving, like this is moving with c by 100. C is the speed of light. Now what is the charge on this one? 10 coulomb. There is no effect on charge of speed, but mass is changes. We know about the mass. How the mass is changes? We know one relation, that is m is equals to the m naught upon root over 1 minus v square by c square. This is the mass when the particle is moving with velocity v, right? And c is the speed of light. What is the m naught is here? M naught is rest mass. What is the m naught? Rest mass is here, right? If m naught is the rest mass over here, what is the meaning of this one? If any body is moving with velocity v, then the mass of the body is increases. If the speed is increases, then the mass of the body is increases. Basically what we have to take from here, if the speed is changes, then the mass can be changed, right? But we are not, like I said, a particle is moving with 1 kilometer per second. So we are not considering those things, like the mass is changes many more, because you can see it's the v square by c square. There will be very negligible change, right? But if the body is moving as comparable to the speed of light, then we have to consider this mass, right? So let's see here. But this is the change in mass now. This is the mass can be changed like this, but the charge will remain constant. Okay. Now let's move on the next. The next property is what? The next is the atomicity of charge. Either what we can say, atomicity of charge. Either we can say it's a quantization of charge. So what is the meaning of atomicity of charge or quantization of charge? Like have you know about the quanta? What is the meaning of quanta? Like we have learned the electromagnetic wave. Either I can say directly, we know about the radiation, right? We all are familiar with the radiation. If this is the radiation is here, so what we will say about the radiation? In the case of radiation, we are saying the radiation is moving like this. So there is the energy packets are there, which is moving with the same speed of radiation, right? There is the packets over here, identical packets over here, and this energy packets are called quanta. These energy packets are called quanta. And even if we are just dealing with the light, then these particles are called photons. I mean the quantas are called photon, right? So this is the, like what is the meaning of this one? I will give you one particle. So you will get the energy Sc by lambda. This is the energy of one particle. I will give you two particles. So you will get 2 Sc by lambda. When I will give you 3 particles, so you will get 3 Sc by lambda. So what is the meaning of this one? When we are providing you the number of particle, you are getting the energy in the form of integral. Integral form means what? Either energy of one photon, either energy of two photon, either energy of three photon, either you can say quanta, it's all up to you. So energy of quanta, right? It's an integral. It's not like that you will say the SC by lambda by 2. You cannot take energy, right? Because it cannot be in the part of this, because it's a fundamental things. Quanta is a fundamental. We cannot break the quanta. Na? Either we can absorb the complete quanta, either we will not absorb the quanta. It will provide us total energy. It will not provide us fraction of energy, right? So this is called quanta. So in the case of this one, we have a same thing. Like if I am saying this is the things related to the radiation over here. So we are saying the same thing is with the charge. How the same thing is with the charge? Like let's see the illustration, then you will understand, right? If I am saying this is a body we have, right? And we are saying it's a neutral. So can we say the net charge is 0, right? What is the meaning of net charge is 0? Number of electron is equals to number of proton, then the net charge is 0, right? If I am saying, let's do something with it. Let's add 2 electron. So when we are adding 2 electron, then what will happen? Now can we say the number of electron is more than number of proton? So now the number of electron is more, then that is called excess electron, right? So how many excess electron is there? 2 excess electron is there, right? If there is a 2 excess electron, so what is the charge on this one? There is a negative charge on this body. Why there is a negative charge? Because on the electron we have a negative charge, right? So there is a negative charge on the body. If I am saying what is the charge on the body, can we calculate charge on the body? Let's see how we will calculate the charge on the body. 2 excess electron is there, no? The others are balancing the proton, only 2 excess electron are there. So there will be charge due to those 2 excess electron. So what will be the charge over here? This is 2 into, the charge is what? 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So what is the charge is here? The charge is 3.2 into 10 to the power minus, 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. And this is negative charges here, right? Now let's move on the next thing. If I am saying we are now withdrawing 2 electron. So when we will withdraw 2 electron, then what will happen? Can we say there is a number of proton is more than number of electron? If number of proton is more, so there is a positive charge. And one thing is also, this is called deficiency. This is called deficiency of electron. I mean the electron is less over here. So this is called deficiency of electron. So this is the deficiency of electron is here. So how many protons are more over here? Can we say 2 protons are more? So what is the charge due to that 2 proton? 2 into what is the charge on 1 proton? 1.6, 10 to the power minus 19. So it's the same. 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. But it will be positive charge over here, right? And that will be what? Negative charge. What I want to tell you exactly, how many electrons are more over here? 2. How many electrons are less over here? 2. Either what we can say, how many protons are more over here? 2. And how many protons are less over here? 2. So the charge on any body is Q equals to NE. Either you can say plus minus NE. So if the charge on any body is Q equals to NE, so how we say charge on any body? This Q is what? This is charge on any body, right? Charge on any body. So this is the charge on any body. Then N is what? N is the number of excess are deficient electron. Excess are deficient electron. Like you can see over here, what is the number is here? 2, right? And what is the number is here? 2. So this 2 is excess and this 2 is deficiency. So simply it's not any type of formula. It's a normal basic algebra what we know previously, right? So this is Q equals to NE. Now let's see the next thing. If I'm saying this is the charge on the body, so we are saying it's a number of excess or deficient electron. But if we have to find out the charge, like if I'm saying we have to find out the charge due to electron, then what we will say, simply just apply Q equals to Ne. What is the N is here? Now N is the number of electron. Number of electron. Like I said, there are 10 to the power 9 electron. So what is the charge due to this electron? The charge due to this electron is 10 to the power 9 into, what is the charge on one electron? 1.6 10 to the power minus 90. So what is the charge is here? 1.6 10 to the power minus 10 coulomb is here, right? This is the charge due to 10 to the power 9 electron. Okay. Now let's move on the next. Let's see what's the next we have. The next we have some illustration that we need to do, right? So let's hear what is the illustration. The first one. Calculate the number of electron in 10 coulomb, right? So can we say the charge is given over here? So what is the charge? Charge is 10 coulomb. We have to find the number of electron. We know there is a single formula, that is Q equals to Ne. What is the Q is here? 10 is equals to N into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 90. So what is the N is here? N is 10 by 1.6 into 10 to the power plus 90. It will be 10 to the power plus 90. So what is the number of electron is here? 10 divided by this one. It's a 6.25 into 10 to the power 90. This is the number of electron we have. This is what? Number of electron for what charge? For 10 coulomb charge. You can, it's simply, if I say we have a formula Q equals to Ne, right? And even E is fixed. 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. And this E is called quanta of charge. This is what? Quanta of charge. If this is the quanta of charge, then we know the value of this one. So either they will give Q and they will ask us about the N, right? Either they will give N and we have to find the Q. Only two things are related to this one, right? Now let's move on the next. The next thing is, we are saying we are just adding the electron, either we are removing the electron. We are not discussing about the proton as well, right? Why we are not discussing the proton as well? Because proton is inside the nucleus, no? Where is the proton? Proton is inside the nucleus. If proton is inside the nucleus, then what will happen in it? The nuclear force is the strongest force among all the forces. So we cannot exert force more than that. That's why it's not possible that we can exert, we are just withdrawing the proton from this nucleus. Okay. But in some situation the nucleus is changing, like we can say that in the case of radioactivity, right? So what is happening in the case of radioactivity? The nucleus is changing. Proton is converting into neutron and neutrino, and even the neutron is converting into proton and antineutrino. A lot of things are there, right? So now let's see the next illustration. So what is the next illustration we have? The next is amount of charge on 60 gram carbon atoms due to electrons only, right? So what we will say over here, no? Let's see. I said this is a carbon sample we have, and this is 60 gram is here, right? If this sample is of 60 gram, so what is the charge due to electron? How we will find the charge due to electron? It means first we need to find out the number of electron. So how we will find out the number of electron? Let's see here. We know the only one formula, that is Q equals to Ne. So let's see how we will find the number of electron. First we need to find the number of atoms over here, right? Because we know if we have a carbon, so carbon is what? 6C12. So in one carbon atom there is 6 electron. We all are familiar with this, right? If in one carbon atom there is a 6 electron, so if anyhow we will find out the number of atoms, so we will multiply with the 6 and we obtain that, right? So let's see here. For this one, first we need to find out the number of moles. What we have to find out? Number of moles. Why we have to find out number of moles? Because the 60 gram is given over here, no? And we know the number of atom in 1 mole, that is Avogadro number, right? So let's see what is the number of moles over here. It's a 60 and for carbon it's a 12. So what is this one? This is 5 mole, right? So what is the number of atom over here? The number of atoms. Number of atoms is equals to what? 5 into. What is the number of atom in 1 mole? That is Avogadro number, no? 6 into 10 to the power 23. I am just leaving that part, 6.023, but I am just leaving for the calculation purpose. This is the number of atoms over here. Just multiply with it. So it will be 3 into 10 to the power what? 24. This is the number of atom. So what is the number of electron is here? The number of electron is equals to 3 into 10 to the power 24. In one atom, how many electrons are there? 6. So can we say it can be written as 1.8 into 10 to the power 25. This is number of electron, right? If this is the number of electron, then what is the charge on the body? The charge on the body is what? And Q equals to Ne. So N is what? 1.8 into 10 to the power 25 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. Q is here. Q is basically just multiply it. So it will be 1.8, 1.6. It's a nearly 2.88, no? Right? Into 10 to the power. What is the power is here? It's a 25 and this is what? Minus 19. So can we say it will be 6 over here? This is charge in Coulomb. So this is the charge on this sample due to the electrons only. Can we say there will be same number of protons also? So if they are asking the charge due to proton, so it will be same. But this one is negative charge and due to proton that will be positive charge. That's why the net charge is 0 on this sample, right? Okay. Now let's move on the next. Let's see what's the next we have. Okay. What is the next we have? We have a copper sphere, right? If we have a copper sphere and which contains 2 into 10 to the power 22 atoms. The question is not complete, right? So let's write the question properly. Contains 2 into 10 to the power 22 atoms. So what we will say over here? What fraction of electron we have to remove to get 2 microcoulomb charge on it. 2 microcoulomb charge, right? So let's see how we will find it out now. First, if I am saying we have a copper. So what is the copper? In one copper atom, we have a 29 electron, right? Am I correct? In one copper atom, we have a 29 electron. If in one copper atom we have a 29 electron, so how many atoms are here? 2 into 10 to the power 20. So what is the total number of electron? The total number of electron is what? 2 into 10 to the power 22 into, this is what? 29. So can we say this is equals to 2 into, it's a 58. So 5.8 into 10 to the power 23. This is the total number of electron, right? If this is the total number of electron, then now what we have to find? We have to find out the fraction. What fraction that we need to remove? So let's see. What is the charges here? 2 microcoulomb. 2 microcoulomb means what? 2 into 10 to the power minus 6 coulomb. So what is the requirement to remove the number of electron? What's the number of electron we are removing over here? Q is equals to Ne. So 2 into 10 to the power minus 6 is equals to N into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 90, right? Can you find out the next thing? What is the N is here? N is 2 by, this is what? 1.6 over here. 2 by 1.6 into 10 to the power. It's a minus 6 and minus 19. Can we say it's a plus 13? What is this? It's a plus 13 is here. So what is the N is here? Can you solve it? Either just leave it. Just take it. This is the number of electron that we need to remove to get 2 microcoulomb. Right? So what fraction we have to remove? You know about the meaning of fraction? What is the meaning of fraction? The removed part upon the total, right? So what is the removed number upon the total number. So what is the removed number is here? It's a 2 by 1.6 into 10 to the power 13 over here. And what is the total number is here? 5.8 into 10 to the power 23 is here. Can we say this is the total number that we have to remove over here, right? So what will be the result over here? It will be nearly, we are not saying sure, it's a nearly 2.6 into 10 to the power minus 11, right? This is in fraction. They can also ask us in the form of percentage. So how we will find out in the percentage? Just multiply with the 100, then we say it's the percentage is here, right? Okay, now let's move on the next. What is the next we have? The next is a field around charged particle, right? Okay. So what is the field around charged particle? Field around charged particle means, like if I am saying this is the charged particle Q we have, right? This is the charged particle Q we have. If this charged particle is at rest, right? If the charged particle is at rest, then the field around the charged particle is only there is an electric field, right? Only there is an electric field. Okay. If I am saying this is the charged particle we have and the charged particle is moving with constant velocity, so there is a electric field, right? There is a electric field plus as well as there is what? There is a magnetic field. Electric field as well as there is a magnetic field. And another situation is also when the charge is moving with oscillated. Oscillated means what? We can say the velocity is increasing. Either the oscillation is acting on the charge. So what will happen over here? There is a electric field plus there is a magnetic field plus electromagnetic wave is here, and this is in the form of radiation. What is the meaning of this one? If I am saying any particle is performing oscillated motion, then the particle radiates some amount of energy. I mean any charged particle, it will radiate some amount of energy. Then the energy of that charged particle is decreases, right? Like we know very well about the Rutherford model. Why the Rutherford model has been failed? Because he was unable to explain these things. Because Maxwell said if any charged particle is moving under the oscillation, then they will radiate some amount of energy. So when electron is just revolving on the circular track, so it is radiating some amount of energy according to the Maxwell, because there is a centripetal oscillation is acting on this. So if oscillation is acting on this, then we say it is radiating energy, right? So if it is radiating energy, then energy will be finished for the electron. Then what will happen? It will collide with the nucleus and the atom will be destroyed. That's why the model of Rutherford was wrong, right? Now let's see the next. Actually this whole thing is depends upon the reference frame. This is depends upon the reference frame. This whole things, it depends upon the reference frame. What is the meaning of reference frame? I hope you all know about the reference frame. Reference frame means general. You can say every observer is a reference frame. A reference frame means an observer with coordinate axis and a clock. This is called reference frame. Like I am just observer. So what I have assumed like this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, and this is my z-axis, and I am just observing to you, right? Either the camera is here, I am observing the camera. So camera is with respect to like this is x-axis, this is y, this is z. So I can explain the position of camera. But with respect to different observer is here, like the cameraman is here. So with respect to cameraman, what is happening? The position of camera is different, right? So every observer is a reference frame. Simple. Every observer is a reference frame. You are observing, I am observing, so you are reference frame, I am reference frame. Reference frame means we can say it's a basic with respect to which we are observing the thing. Like if I am saying, I am just standing over here, right? So what I have assumed, this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, and this is my what? Z-axis, right? This whole combination is called reference frame. And the observer will be always at origin. Why the observer will be always at origin? Because when I am just observing something, no, so I am just observing, like I just consider I am at rest, like any observer. If let's take some physical example, like if I am saying we are just moving inside the train, so what we are observing, the tracks are moving in backward direction, but what is the reality? We are moving in forward direction. So what we are saying, we are observers, so we will assume itself at rest, right? So if we are observing ourselves at rest, so that's why we are saying we are always at the origin, and the other things are changing their position, right? Now let's move on the next. If this is the reference frame is here, and if this is the charge particle Q is here, okay? If this is the charge particle, and we are saying this is the observer 1 we have, right? And this is observer 2 we have, okay? Observer 1 is at rest, and observer 2 is moving with 10 meter per second. And what I said to you, just assume this charge particle is also moving with 10 meter per second. Now what will happen? With respect to this observer, the charge is in motion, right? If with respect to this observer, the charge is in motion with constant velocity. So there is an electric field and magnetic field with respect to this observer 1, right? It means for observer 1, there is an electric field plus there is a magnetic field. Now what is happening with observer 2? With respect to observer 2, this is moving with 10 and this is moving with 10. So with respect to 2, what we will say? The charge is at rest, right? If the charge is at rest, so there is what field? Electric field is there. So for this one, there is only electric field. That's what I said. This thing is relative, and it depends upon reference frame. But when we are dealing with the combined electric and magnetic field, that is frame independent, right? But when we are taking electric field and magnetic field separately, then these things depends upon the reference frame. Like you can see the observer 1, I mean frame 1 and frame 2. Both the things are different from frame 1 and frame 2. There is electric plus magnetic and there is only electric. So this is relative term is here, right? Now let's move on the next thing. What is the next property of charge we have? The next property of charge is transferable, right? Charge is transferable. Charge is transferable. What is the meaning of this one? The charge is transferable. The charge is transferable means we can transfer the charge from one body to another body. Like this is A, this is B. So we can say we can just transfer the charge from A to B, either B to A, whatever. It depends upon the situation. Actually, the transfer of charge, it depends upon the potential difference, right? It depends upon the potential difference, right? But we haven't discussed about the potential. So when I will start the potential, then I will explain you like how the charge is transferring from one body to another body. What is the amount of charge is transferring from one body to another body, right? Right now, let's see here, just consider only the charge is transferable. Now let's see. If I'm saying the charge is transferable, so it's not look like there is an electron. And what we have done? We have taken this electron. What we have done? We have taken this electron, and what we are doing? We are shifting electron to this. It's not possible. No? We cannot shift the electron. No? I mean with our hand. Like we are observing, this is electron. Let's shift it. Right? It's not possible that we can shift it. Then how we will transfer the electron? I mean how we are transferring the charge? Transferring the charge means what is the basic of this one? If we are transferring the charge, then as I said, we don't have to discuss about the proton. So there is a transfer of electron. There is a transfer of electron, right? And one thing is also, if there is a transfer of electron, so can we say electron, there is a mass of electron or not? There is a mass of electron, 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So if I am saying there is a mass of electron, so when we are transferring the electron, so partially we are transferring the mass, right? So in this, what we can say, in this transfer of charge, the transfer of mass is already included here, right? Included here. We know it's a very small amount, but the mass will be transferred, right? Like if I'm saying this is the body A is here having mass ma. and this is the body B is here having mass mb. If we will transfer the electron, initially the ma is equals to mb, but when we transfer the electron, then mass of A will be less than mass of B, right? Because when we transferring the electron, then mass of B is increases. Okay. Now let's see. So as I said, it's not possible that we will just take in this electron and we are transferring from here to there, right? It's not possible that we can do the things like this, right? So there are some process like how we will transfer the charge. No? So what are the processes over here? I mean, there is a methods to transfer the charge, right? Methods to transfer the charge. If there is a method to transfer the charge, then this is called methods of charging. This is called methods of charging, right? It's a methods of charging. Okay. This charging means charging means how we are just providing charge to anybody. Charge means charge, not energy. Like we are saying the mobile is charging, laptop is charging. So this is basically energy. We are storing energy in that, right? But in this one, what we are doing, we are providing charge, right? There is an appearance of charge. We are introducing the charge on the body. Then this is called charging. So let's see what are the methods of charging that we need to concentrate over here. So let's see some methods of charging over here. The first one is what we are just going to discuss, the charging by friction, right? Charging by friction. So what is the charging by friction is there? No? If we are just dealing with the charging by friction, so charging by friction means simply if I am saying we have to transfer the electron, right? So if we have to transfer the electron, and let's assume the electron is bonded over here and we have to transfer the electron, then what we have to do? We have to just extract the electron, then we have to provide some amount of energy, right? So when we provide the energy, then electron will break the bond and they will transfer to the any other body, right? So what is happening in the case of friction, like if I'm saying this is the body A we have and this is the another body B we have, right? And we are rubbing them against each other, right? We are rubbing them against each other. So when we are rubbing them against each other, then what will happen? There will be heat is produced, like you can just rub your hand. So there is a heat energy is there. So can we say due to that it may be possible the bond of the electrons will be break. So electron of A is transferred to B. I am not saying only from A to B. It may be possible the electrons are transferred from B to A, right? It may be possible. And one thing is also, one should be insulator over here, right? Because if both will be conductor, so the net charge will be 0 because initially the charge is 0. So if this is the electron is here, so electron is transferring on this one. So what will be the result over here? The result is on A is losing the electron. So when anybody is losing the electron, so there is a positive charge on that. And what we can comment on B? There is a negative charge on B. Why there is a negative charge on B? Because the B is taking the charge from A. Either we can say it's gaining the charge over here, right? But it's not possible that always we can say there is a charge. I mean, how the like if I'm saying in general, if you are running any two object, so we don't know about the object. I mean, which one will lose the electron and which one will gain the electron. So there is a one thing that is called triboelectro series, right? Triboelectric series. What is the meaning of triboelectric series? Triboelectric series is it's a series based upon tendency to gain or lose the electron. It's a tendency to gain the or lose the electron. This is called triboelectric series. You don't have to consider this one, but right now you have to only know. Like there is a series, like you know in the chemistry there is a lot of series in there. So it's the same like you can say in physics. That is triboelectric series. In this series, the above one are tendency to lose the electron, and the lower one have tendency to tendency to gain the electron. Then that series is called triboelectric series. I am just taking some illustration from that series. then you will understand. Only these are useful for you, right? No need to check out for this triboelectric series. If you are interested, then you can check out for this. So let's see here, what is here? If I'm saying we have a glass rod, right? If we have a glass rod and we are rubbing it with the silk. If we have a glass rod and we are rubbing it with the silk, then what will happen over here? The glass rod will be positively charged and the silk will be what? Negatively charged, right? Let's see the next. If I am saying we have a ebonite rod, a plus we are rubbing it with the cat skin, right? So when we are rubbing with the cat skin, so in this situation, the ebonite rod is negatively charged, and what we can say about cat skin, it will be positively charged, right? Now let's see the next. If I am saying we are just taking the next, we can take one relation more. If I am saying we have a dry hair, a plus comb, right? Then what will happen? The dry hair will acquire positive charge and the comb will acquire negative charge. It's the same with the wool. Like if I am saying there is a wool we have, right? And plus we are taking this one with the plastic, right? With the plastic, either we can say rubber, then wool will be positively charged and this will be negatively charged. Plastic, rubber, etc. There will be negative charge on this, right? So only these are the useful relations for you. Like when we are rubbing this one, then we are getting these things, right? Except this one, if you want to know more about this one, like which have tendency to gain the electron, which have tendency to lose the electron, so you can just visit for this triboelectric series.